This video is recorded earlier, and I'm doing narration over it. But I thought that somebody might like to see the Turnigy Accucel 6 sort of in the wild with a couple of other hobbyking sold batteries. I have some Zippy compacts, as you can see here. I have two 4,000 milliamp hour 3S, and then another 3S that's a 2450. And I've got a spreadsheet that I detail some of my tests in. But this is basically me showing that the Accucel 6, as with any battery charger, if you give it a LiPo setting, it's going to stop at 4.2 volts per cell. So regardless of your milliamp hours, if it's a 3S, it's 4.2, 4.2, 4.2 for a total of 12.6, and that's when the battery charger is going to cut off. Now, one of the issues that I noticed with my battery charger is because I have a DJI NASA that you can see me flying in a couple other videos that don't have my voice, but basically I bought a battery buzzer, or a battery alarm, a LiPo battery alarm, and one of the things that it does is it shows you each cell's voltage. So one of the problems with that is that it doesn't match the charger's voltage of 4.2 as soon as I pull it off the charger. So in the next video that I'm appending to this, you'll see that. So this is the video where I have battery 1 and battery 2, and each one of those is the 4,000 milliamp hour batteries. But and battery 3 is the 2450 milliamp hour batteries. They're all 3S. So I bought this little thing. It's just a little LiPo battery buzzer alarm. And you can see what it's doing is it's going 1, 2, 3, and then all. And so it's doing the addition for you. So it shows you cell 1, cell 2, cell 3, and then the total. And if you saw, this is immediately after I pulled it off the charger, and you'll notice that it's nowhere near 4.2, which is what it should be. Like this one is, for example, 4.13, 4.16, and 4.15 for a total of 12.4. It doesn't do the hundredths, but you get the idea. You know, you pull it off the charger, and here's this alarm that's supposed to tell you when your battery's running low, but it's immediately down 0.2 volts total voltage, which in the RC world is kind of a big deal. It can be the difference between 10 minutes and 13 minutes or something like that. So you'll see in the background here that I've got a voltmeter, and that's the third measurement that I'm using for the LiPo batteries to do my test. I'll also maybe incorporate later the voltage protection from the NASA, which pulls the voltage off the battery. It's a little misleading though, because it's pulling voltage from the actual battery itself. So I've done some editing with this video. I really just recorded it for myself to be able to record this stuff and then write it up on a spreadsheet later. But I've done some annotation here in Movie Maker, so I think I'm just going to stick with this rather than do the YouTube editing. And so here I'm hooking up my voltmeter, and I've got, it takes me a second, and if you watch, that's actually volts, and the it'll show you, interestingly enough, you ground it and it shows you the first cell, which is 4.21, And then the second cell it's going to show is 8.37, which is actually both cells added together. And this is something I didn't know. This is coming off of the balancer port. So this one you can see from the voltmeter is a lot closer to 12.6 than 12.4, you know, with the LiPo battery alarm. So if you look here, it's 12.52, 12.51. You know, it's pulling some voltage from that balance port, but not too much. So this is the second battery, which is an identical battery. It's another 4,000 milliamp hour 3S from Hobbyking. It's the Zippy Compact variety. So I'm grounding, and then we'll do cell 1 is 4.17, cell 2 8.36 minus 4.17, 4.19, cell 3 is 4.18 based on the math, and so you have a total of 12.54. So again, a lot closer to the actual to what the charger thinks, right? 12.6. If you're just going off the total numbers. And at the end of this, I'll show you my spreadsheet. So this is the smaller battery, the 2450 milliamp hours, and so it again gets even closer, right? 12.55 volts. So anyway, the next thing I do here is I'm actually testing off of the, not the balance port, but the actual plug that would plug into your quadcopter or your RC vehicle or whatever, the actual output of the battery, not the thing that gives you the insight into all, but the total voltage. And so this is 12.54. Like, so they match up, and the balance port isn't reporting some sort of weird number. And in just a second, I'm going to go to the screen capture that I've got that shows the spreadsheet that I've created and sort of the differences. And anyway, here's the next video.
Okay, so I figured out something else. A lot of people say you can calibrate your Accucel 6, and like I said, I have two, and you can't really tell the difference between the two. Maybe you can in this video, but this one is decidedly black, and this one is a little bit grayer. The black one, and I'll sort of differentiate that one, it's the one that's got the plastic still on the screen cover. This one came from the United States warehouse, Hobbyking, and this one I ordered from the international warehouse, the one in Hong Kong or China, and that was before I sort of knew about the USA warehouse and knew that they carried that. And I realized that once I got more than one battery that I could only charge one at a time, and they were cheap enough, so I said, oh, what the heck, I'll get another one. Well, so what they tell you to do is to plug in your battery charger and at the same time hold down your two buttons, your status left, and so the minus, and the start button or the enter button, and you do them at the same time. You'll notice when this one comes on, I don't know if this is a universal difference or whatever, that the Turnigy deal is actually on the bottom half of the LCD. Now, with this one, you'll notice that it's on the top. Okay, well, so when I plug in this one, and I'm holding down those two buttons, which is kind of hard to do while I'm holding the camera, but you'll have to trust me. I'm holding down the two buttons, and I plug it in, and it just responds to the button pushes. It doesn't do anything different, a la the calibration menu. But when I do the same thing for this one, See, it doesn't immediately go to the menu like the other one does. It waits for a second, and then after a few minutes, after a few seconds, then you can type this in. And I think I've seen some videos on this from some guys from New Zealand or Australia, and basically what this is doing is, if I had a battery plugged in, which I don't, it would show you the total voltage, which then you would have tested with a voltmeter, and depending on how much it's off, you adjust it by giving, I guess this is hundredths of volts, and then this is, and then the zero next to the plus sign is tenths of volts if I only had to guess. But anyway, so bottom line is you can have two chargers, at least in my case, from two different warehouses. It's interesting to point out that people talk about the new Turnigys as not coming with the calibration menu. However, I did order the Turnigy on the bottom, this totally black one. I ordered that one afterwards, again from a different warehouse, so maybe that's not a very good comparison, but maybe the new ones coming out of Hong Kong don't have that capability. And you know, as you can see from my test results, that that's probably something that's kind of nice to have. You know, I'm only off by whatever it was we determined, but and they're fairly similar. But you know, in this case, what I guess I'd have to do is I'd have to charge one on this one, and then let it sit for a couple of minutes, and then put it back on this one, which would sort of put it over the top, or not over the top, I guess, but put it directly at 12.6 based on my overage calibration. I could see why they got rid of it. If they did in fact get rid of it, planning on writing hobbyking and just seeing, or going through all of the discussions. There's about 900 on this charger, and seeing if I could find out if they know that they did it, and if so, then they can maybe tell you why. But you know, safety is always of utmost concern. You could probably get sued for blowing somebody up because they didn't really realize what you could do with the calibration settings. Although all you got to do is say that you're charging a 4S instead of a 3S, and everybody knows that that'll result in either a puff LiPo or a fire. Anyway, just thought since I have two of them that everybody'd like to see that.